Tonight in the arena, Ann Coulter unleashes on liberal mobsters and their evil, evil ways. American taxpayers, deadly enemies, assault weapons, well, they're all connected, you know. But how? Well, Mark Steyn joins us to explain all. And finally, we risk life and limb to bring you something so controversial it's actually gotten people decapitated. Well, don't you lose your head, because there's all that and more tonight in the arena. Don't touch that dial. Hello, good evening and welcome. You have just entered the arena. I'm Michael Coren and thank you for joining me. I'm offended, therefore I am. The rallying cry of the censorship-obsessed throughout the world. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but at this point in history, the campaign to silence you, me, all of us, is led by a disparate and at first glance unnatural coalition. Muslims, gays, feminist zealots, socialist radicals, strange bedfellows, especially if the gays and the Muslims are in the same bed. Not all Muslims, not all homosexuals, not all on the left, of course. Mind you, there appears to be something intrinsic and inevitable about the censorship fetish within Islam and socialism. Now look, I've got no illusions here. There are those on the conservative right, those who are Christian, who want to tell you what to say and when to say it. But they tend to be the exception to the rule, whereas the lefties really like the rules, don't they? Look, I'm Catholic. I'm pro-life. I believe marriage is the union of one man and one woman. I believe parents and not the state have the right, nay, the duty, to educate and raise children. I believe Israel, the Jewish state, is a beacon of decency in a morally inelegant Middle East. I believe that freedom and liberty triumph over regulation and control. I believe in values and virtues. I believe that changing with the times is a dumb and dangerous thing to do. Would you have asked a German in 1935 to change with the times? Think about it. But I also believe in you. Yeah, in you. And thus believe that even if you disagree with me, disagree vehemently and passionately, your voice has to be heard and your views respected. Now, all I ask is that you have the same regard for me and mine. If what I say offends you, well, watch something else. Hey, it's what conservatives have been told for 40 years now, every time they've complained about immorality or pornography on TV and radio. If you don't like it, switch channel, don't listen. Then, of course, the media party and the establishment politicians try to prevent conservatives and people of faith from having their own channels and stations. Oh, hypocrisy, liberalism is thy name. If you decide to watch, if you do decide, join the debate, be part of the conversation. The only thing worse than a closed mind is an empty head. Don't be frightened, don't be scared of listening to what people with a different point of view have to say. The left have a mantra, a phrase they throw at conservatives over and over again, particularly over social and ethical issues. What are you afraid of? Well, comrades, what are you afraid of? And they are afraid. I mean, those who can't take the heat used to run away to sea. Now they run away to the CBC. Now, beyond the cult of censorship in the media are those grotesque human rights commissions and their coven of controllers. You've all heard the anecdotes about these moral gargoyles, unqualified, unaccountable, uncaring fanatics who, in the name of their freedom, want to eliminate yours. Now, I confidently expect that they'll try to punish me, because punishing is their business. Think about this for a while. Human rights commissions, hate crimes units, bias crimes units, radio and TV commissions. Do you feel that we live in a country full of hatred, racism, sexism, bigotry? Well, I don't. I've lived half my life in Canada, and I find Canadians to be an invincibly fair, friendly, kind people. Do you think you need to be monitored all the time, told what to think, read and watch? No, neither do I. Which is why here on Sun News, here on the arena, we're going to explode the padded room of political correctness and allow air and, yes, sunlight into the body politic and the Canadian public square. As I said at the beginning, the crazies out there live by, I am offended, therefore I am. We say, speak your mind, listen to others, trust Canadians, and cherish freedom. I am Michael Coren, this is the arena, and you are in for one hell of a ride. Oh, and one last thing. God bless Canada. Okay, he's in the pay of international Zionism. He's a running dog of American capitalism. He's evil. The left say he's smelly. Yes, it's Mark Steyn. Oh, and he happens to be my friend and arguably the most perceptive journalistic voice in the modern world. Welcome to the debut of The Arena, Mark.
Hey, great to be with you, Michael. Honor to be here on your new show, and put me down for the 25th anniversary show.
Ah, wonderful stuff. Now, here's the book, because we need to plug people's books. I'm an author. After America, Get Ready for Armageddon by Mark Steyn. It's available well, is it available everywhere, Mark? Because you've had some problems with implicit censorship, haven't you?
It is actually available. I believe it's actually legal in Canada, and my friend Heather Reisman at Chapters Indigo has got it all out on prominent tables, I'm assured, and Heather and I will be doing something in Toronto in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I know there was a bit of friction at one point, but she's a friend of mine, so I better not say too much. Now, the thesis of the book, After America, because America was the last, the only hope left for you and others who supported your point of view. You're now saying that's all over?
Well, in America alone, my previous book, I argued that basically most of the rest of the Western world had adopted a defective business model that was an existential threat to some of the oldest nation states on the planet, including the one I'm in. I'm in London, the capital of the former dominant power. In the last couple of years, the United States has signed up for pretty much the same program as the rest of the West, but supersized. And when America slides off the cliff, it tends to land with a much bigger thud than Iceland or Ireland or Portugal or Greece do.
Mm-hmm. So what can we look forward to? That's a severely inappropriate way to put this, but what can we look forward to in the next 5, 10, 15 years of American foreign and domestic policy?
Well, according to the IMF, China will become the dominant economic power on the planet in the year 2016. Now, I don't think that's just a change in the league tables, like when Atlanta overtakes Heathrow as the world's busiest airport. I think that's one of those half-millennium shifts. It's an end not only to 2 centuries of Anglophone dominance by America and Britain, but going back to Italy and the Netherlands before it. I think this is a much bigger shift. The dominant economic power on the planet will be a communist politburo with a peasant population, no genuine market, no human rights, no property rights, no intellectual property rights, no free speech. The idea that this is just a modest technical recalibration of the global hit parade and life goes on, I think is ridiculous.
So what would that mean, though, to the... I don't disagree with your premise here at all, but what would that mean to the average North American? There are some people who argue, yes, this may happen, but the Chinese are no longer communist. They simply want to make money and be stable, and we can continue. It'll be a different governance, but we can continue and enjoy our lives still.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen, because for one thing, the United States is basically the brokest country in history. It's developed a model for national government in which it spends $4 trillion while only taking in $2 trillion. You cannot close that gap. By about the middle of this decade, and this is really the point of the book, it's about the urgency. None of this stuff is happening mid-century. It's happening now. And around 2015, the United States taxpayer will basically, just through interest payments on the debt, be covering the entire cost of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. You're a great scholar of history, Michael. You know as well as I do that there were periods during the sack of Rome when the barbarians showed up at the gates, and the government of the declining Roman Empire attempted to bribe him to go away by offering him sacks of gold and silver. But they didn't pick up the entire cost of the Visigoth military as a matter of policy, and they didn't tax Roman taxpayers to do it. So this is really unprecedented in history, in which one declining power funds the rise of its successor.
My God, stay with us, Mark. When we come back, more, of course, of Mark Steyn.